Have you watched Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Okay. I mean,
and what is the point of that? Whether
you know,
I've watched a movie or not makes absolutely no difference.
I'm talking about you posting on your blog that you wouldn't watch Brokeback Mountain because you don't want to see two male characters having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. Most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Your words, not mine, Joy. I play the race card.
Because this is your shtick, and I get that this is your
shtick.
You
racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it, and I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognized game. I get this is
it's
your
not
game.
my shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your shtick.
It is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is. I agree with Mark
when Obama did the same thing,
last time I checked, is
I'm not allowed to mention his skin color.
I agree with his former chief of staff, Piers. We
people got bored with it,
and it is so interesting to me.
Y'all know I had to do it. I had to see this because Joy Reid over here getting cooked, melting down. She was called out about so much stuff. It ain't even enough time to react to everything. But man, just know this is gonna get ugly. He done played the clip of her crying and everything after she got fired ruthlessly from MSDNC. This mug was clean. I can't wait to actually see the rest of it. I've only seen like literally seconds. That's just for the record, for those who don't understand how the heck I do these videos. I watch basically a few seconds and determine like, oh, yeah, I definitely need to do a full reaction to that. And that's what we decided here today. Joy Reid, bald-headed Joy Reid, is out here getting absolutely smoked and called out for her BS by based Piers Morgan. He's a little deranged in his own way. Make no mistake, he is a leftist. However, he has been doing a little bit of God's work lately because he took and humiliated the hell out of Joy Reid. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, let's move on to, I want to just play a clip of when you lost your job at MSNBC. Let's watch this.
My show had value and that, I'm sorry. That
I'm about to cry too because I'm so.
What I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed.
You know how mean Joy Reid has been to people over the years? How many people's faces that she's laughed at who've had misfortune? In some cases, sometimes you just can't help it, guys. I mean, I can't help but get a good laugh out of this. I can't help but say that, oh yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm
not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And you know,
Did y'all see the video I just posted? I'm not gonna play the clip, but where the lady was talking about all of them sex books in the kids' school and how Joy Reid defended that. Not of God. Not at all.
Church girl too. And
you know, a lot of people at NBC were briefing that the reason was declining ratings post the election, the 47% decrease in your election, in ratings from pre-election. But you told Mark Lamont Hill on his show this.
After I said on my show that the reason Americans could relate to Ukraine.
This freaking P word has a shirt that says the future is black and feminist. I can see you saying black. You a black dude, understandable. But feminist, my guy? And putting both of them together, it's like you want the future to be people like Joy Reid leading the country, like Crockett? What the hell is wrong with this little doofus?
I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin color or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racial.
I mean, let's keep it real. Would Joy Reid have ever not played the race card under any circumstances whatsoever? I mean, of course not. That's what all of these woke people, this is a risk that you take. You hire a wokety woke, one of these race hustlers. This is a risk you take, is that they're going to, as soon as they're out of that place, they're going to start talking about racism. Potentially they might sue you. They're going to denigrate the whole network. Oh, here's all the problems that I never talked about. That's the risk that you take. That's why a lot of people unfortunately, don't be even wanting to hire black people and other people of other minority groups because they're like, well, what happens if something goes wrong? Then these people are going to sue the freaking pants off of us and just cause problem after problem. Nobody wants to deal with our people because of idiots like Joy Reid.
Conversations with me, Piers. I find it actually quite
You
charming.
racialize more
It's
conversations
no,
in your
excuse me, I'm having
tenure
a
at
conversation with Mark Lamont Hill
MSNBC
that
than
you're
any
clipping bits
host
of.
in
All right,
history.
all right, Mark.
Come
All right, Piers.
on.
And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your
You
shtick.
racialized everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognized game.
The nerve, did she just say game recognized game? The nerve of Joy Reid to try to say that Piers Morgan's shtick is racism and not hers? Like, you gotta be kidding me.
And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialized everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognized game. I get this is
It's
your
not
game.
my shtick.
And the bottom line,
It was your
It
shtick.
is your shtick, and everyone knows
your
that it
shtick.
is. Piers, we
People got
understand
bored
what
with
it is. And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations. But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president, why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find.
How you gonna, this doesn't make any sense. How you gonna say that Donald Trump is this biggest racist ever for deporting illegal immigrants and who happen to be brown people, but then when Barack Obama does it, he's a black man. Oh, he's not racist for whatever reason. It just made sense when he was doing it. That's why, basically, Piers, stop making sense. I don't like it. Stop making sense. You're making me look bad, Piers. It's already bad enough that I'm bald with this stupid little blonde piece of garbage, this little garnish on top of her head. It's bad enough for me, Piers. Why are you telling the truth on top of that? Stop it, Piers. That's what she's saying.
And that charming and funny.
I find
You
it hilarious
cannot
because
see
you're the
your
one.
own-
You're
Well,
the one
you
who said
and your
you're
friend
the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald
You
Trump.
said Donald
you and
Trump
your
is a
friend
white
Donald Trump
fascist.
Are so. He is a well. I agree
And
with
yet
Mark
when Obama
Milley,
did the
who
same
is,
thing,
last time I checked, is
I'm not allowed
black.
to mention his skin
I
color.
agree with his former chief of staff, who last I checked was not black and said he's fascist. And Mark Milley said he's fascist to the core.
Okay.
So I happen to agree, and I know this is what it's important to you, with two very white gentlemen.
President Trump reacted to your departure by saying, low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSNBC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent. Should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. What's your response to that?
The question I'm asking
they covered
is,
this too. What do
is
you
the
know?
expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer
Please
for
do.
you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? I mean, that's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No,
Wait,
we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Now, there's also a second clip. This is
Look at her,
you talking
look at her
about-
laughing about this. They're literally talking about people getting raped with dildo, young boys. Joy Reid thinks it's funny.
Republicans.
That's why I don't feel bad that you got your little goofy butt fired.
The confusing part of all this, Joy, is what you really think about the LGBTQ plus, whatever it now is, community, right? Because as you know, when you started commentating about this, appearing to be a big ally, a lot of stuff emerged which came from posts that you had purportedly put up in a blog between 2007 and 2009, one of which said, most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Another said, I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain. You were talking about having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. You referred to the then Florida governor as Miss Charlie and featured the tag gay politicians. Now, you said at the time when all this emerged, I genuinely don't believe I wrote those hateful things because they're completely alien to me. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they've not been able to prove it. Now you're not at MSNBC. Now you're on your own, doing your own thing, and you don't have to worry about repercussions and stuff. Are you prepared to finally come clean
She's
and
gonna
just
lie.
admit
She's gonna lie.
that was your blog,
Two.
and you did say those things?
You know, Piers, I might have known that you would use this opportunity and interview and that this was your purpose, right? That I was very open with my employer at the time about what happened with that old site, which I stopped writing in, before I even came back into the NBC family. And what I have not really talked about publicly, but what I can tell you is that I had a very legitimate reason for being concerned about it, because I was also on the radio at that time. And the things that I was literally talking about on the radio were quite the opposite of the things that were in that site. That is the reason that we began investigating what was going on with that site. And there was also someone who I do not know, who I still do not know, who had login access to my site for years that we did not even discover because I hadn't looked at the site for years.
Joy Reid
I don't know who that is. I don't know why they had access.
Did you say
how
them?
for you?
Did you
but
say
hold
those
on,
things?
wait. What I'm
Come
going
on,
to say
Joy.
is very
You
simply
said
this.
them.
What I'm going to say is
Come
very
on,
simply
you said
this,
them.
Piers.
You know you
The
did.
point that you're attempting
You
to
just
make
spun
now.
me an absolute
No,
load of
hold on
old
a second.
flannel.
The reason that you are trying to go here is that you're trying to defend the idea that Moms for Liberty and these other organizations can take books that are not pornography, that are not pornographic.
No, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to see whether you like to hold people to account, and I'm just trying to ask
I held
you
myself to account
questions
for that,
about
and I
you being held to
apologized for
account.
everything that was in that site, and I took responsibility for everything that was in that site, and I still take responsibility for everything that was in that
this one
site.
got
I find
annihilated.
anything that
Do you think
question.
books? All right. Do you think school children at school should have access to books in their library which involve strap-on dildos?
Again, you're taking a book that has multiple subjects and you're taking this award-winning book and dumbing it down to
I just asked you a simple
because
question.
You may feel uncomfortable. And the bottom line is, these books that were published by publishers who had an opportunity to say no, looked at these books. These are award-winning books, and I think parents should have the opportunity to opt their children out if they don't feel comfortable.
Have you watched Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Okay. I mean,
what is the point of that?
Well, because you said I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain having sex.
Okay, so what does me watching Brokeback Mountain have to do with that book, whether or not it is pornographic?
No, nothing to do with the book.
That book, that is a book that people can have the opportunity to read if they so choose.
No, I'm not talking about the book.
I do not understand how an organization
I'm not talking about the book.
Can make a decision. It is not about the movie. It is about whether or not Moms for Liberty
I'm not talking about the book.
The organization who should make
Joy,
decisions for other
I'm
people's
not talking
children.
about the book, as
Whether
you know.
watched
Posting on your blog that you wouldn't watch Brokeback Mountain because you don't want to see two male characters having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. Most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Your words, not mine, Joy.
And your point is?
That maybe that makes you a bit of a hypocrite when you're taking the position of being an ally for the LGBTQ community. And actually, the best way to handle it, I would argue, is just to say, you know what? Actually, I did write that at the time. They're not my views now. I've learned, I've evolved, I've moved on.
This would be an honest take. You think Joy Reid is an honest person? Give me a freaking break here. Guys, we got to cut it right there. This was outstanding. Piers Morgan came with the smoke. He was cooking with Crisco today, and I loved every second of it. Guys, this was perfect. Let me know what you think. You think Joy Reid got cooked today? You think she held her own? Do you think she wrote those horrible things in that blog? Do you think she's really an ally, or is she just a fraud, and now she feels like it's too late to go back on her word? She wants to kind of retain or maybe steal some of that MSDNC market share. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Out Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
I don't think any host in the history of cable news has waged more grievance than Joy Reid. So the idea that you're now hectoring us about feeling aggrieved about things, you spent years being aggrieved about absolutely everything.